Hello everyone, Elite Clockwoman here. Episode 17 came out not long ago, and I simply don't have words to describe this episode. It was just crazy and amazing. And probably this is the coolest episode of all time. The quality of animation, character movements is already at its best another level. And I would say that the quality of this episode is no worse than an original SKIBIDI toilet, and this is incredible. So after watching this episode, we have a lot of questions. And today, we will try to find out everything. So take some goodies and drinks and get ready, as it will very hot. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you liked episode 17. And here we go. And at the beginning of the episode, we can immediately notice that today we will see through the eyes of the camera woman, since we see her reflection on the glass of the elevator, and we see that there is a battle in the office, and the camera woman successfully deals with the enemies and finishes off those who are left with her gun. And we see how the toilet pushed the cameraman out of the window, and our fearless heroine jumped after him to save him. And she saves him with the help of her jetpack, and they successfully land on the ground, and we see that there is a large-scale war of toilets and agents. But with Camera Woman, we have nothing to fear, and she flew to attack the SKIBIDI helicopter, and we can also notice that this toilet has white eyes, and the same eyes were also in the SKIBIDI man in episode 13. It's not yet clear what this means, but it's a fact. And the camera woman successfully kills the mutant with the help of his turntable. And it's also important to note that black blood comes out of him. And it is possible that mutants like him appear from this laboratory, but not much later you will find out everything. Anyway, after the camera woman destroyed the mutant, we clearly see the laboratory building, and it says Laboratory Number 3. And it seems to me that in general there are 4 laboratories. Laboratory 4 was in episode 13, and here we already see Laboratory Number 3. And we can also notice that it is located on some island in the mountains. I don't know how the agents found this laboratory, but it is even more secret than the previous one, and what we see in it will shock you. Anyway, the camera woman has successfully landed, and when the camera turns, we can notice the elite clockman hiding in the corner, and not much later, you will find out what his goal is, and why he is watching the agents. So be sure to watch the video to the end to find out his secrets. And the agents headed to the laboratory, but suddenly black smoke appeared, and out of the black smoke, the same mutant from the leaked frame appeared. But how did he appear here? We know that only the SKIBIDI scientist could teleport, but this mutant is special, and perhaps he also received this ability, or the scientist teleported him. And this mutant is very creepy, and especially his eyes. They are like darkness, and I seem to have seen similar mutants in scary movies, and this toilet also makes very scary sounds. And if you look at his eyes and listen to this sound, then it becomes clear that this mutant navigates with the help of sound like bats. We also see large chains, and when I saw this leak, it seemed to me that he was chained, but in fact this is his deadly weapon. But the camera woman is not afraid of this monster and wants to attack. But the cameraman stopped her because he immediately realized that this toilet navigates using sound, and all the agents seem to be frozen. And we already saw this scene in the leak, like the agent is holding the toilet so that it doesn't make any sounds. And we also see some handsome guy behind the wall, and I wonder if he could kill this mutant in a one-on-one battle. Write your versions in the comments. And all the agents begin to creep up to move further, but one of the speaker men touched the can and made a sound. And it seems to me that all the agents hated this speakerman after that moment, and for this, he was instantly destroyed, and all the agents began to attack this monster. But in their place, I would not have attacked him and would have continued to move silently. But perhaps they had no choice since the mutant began to turn around and attack everyone. But in any case, ordinary agents will not be able to defeat this giant. And also in this frame, we can see that the elite clockman has disappeared somewhere, but he could help the agents and pierce this mutant's head. But in any way, I like him. Oops, that's not what I meant. Let's continue the analysis. We see that this monster begins to destroy everything around him, and all the agents begin to run away. And the cameraman took the camera woman aside, and the mutant began to burn absolutely everything in his path. And our heroes begin to run away, and they jumped into the building, but the mutant heard them because of the sound of the boards, and killed the poor cameraman, and he pointed his huge guns at the camera woman, and it seemed that she was finished. But the monster's head bent from a laser shot, and finally we see our improved knight who came to the rescue, and let's take a close look at his armor. We see that now, he is completely in an exoskeleton that can withstand a lot of damage. He also has 2 new lasers on his hands with sharp tips, which are perfect for close combat. And he also now has a new jetpack, and now he moves with lightning speed. And for some reason, he now reminds me of Batman or some special agent from Cyberpunk. Well, in general, he looks amazing, and he immediately released a sound wave to stun the monster. But he was able to withstand it and began to attack the Speaker Man. And the main battle of this episode begins, and it becomes clear to us that the Speaker Man dominates and begins to beat the mutant with his weapons and then with a laser, and we see that the Speaker Man, as if in berserk mode, he mercilessly beating this monster, and it's crazy. And we also see that he can release his claws and inflicts very strong damage with them, and he knocks the monster to the ground and finishes him off with a sound wave. And it was an insane fight. And I'm even scared to imagine what Cameraman Titan is like now after improvements, because Speakerman is damn strong, and Cameraman will be even stronger. And it's also important to note that Speakerman's armor flickers, as if it were holographic. But I think that these are errors in the rendering. So when the Dom Studio answered questions from viewers, he said that in Blender, there are many problems with rendering and a lot of bugs. And he also answered a lot of questions such as, what will TV Man Titan look like in SKIBIDI Multiverse? Also what he plans to do next with this universe. And he also spoke about the anime and about the movie on this SKIBIDI Multiverse. And if you are interested in what I'm talking about, then I have a video with the most important questions that relate to this universe. So be sure to check it out when you're done here. Anyway, after the monster was killed, the Speakerman gives us a thumbs up, although Speakermen usually dance. But we have never seen the Speakerman Titan dance, so the thumbs up is also suitable. And the camera woman sees that the TV woman is calling her, and the camera woman immediately headed towards her, and we see how funny guys are trying to break through the door with their karate moves. And we see that the TV woman is not happy with this, and she takes the hand of the camera woman, and they teleport together inside the laboratory. And the first impression is very creepy. The red lights are flashing, and we see an incomprehensible corridor, which is always there in scary movies, and our women slowly but confidently walk to the doors. And above the doors, we see the inscription, "Do not enter," as well as the Morse code below, and this is what it means. It says The Shining, and this is a reference to the 1980 horror movie. But I won't say much about this movie, because I'm scared myself, and you'd better not watch it if you're not 18 years old, because you might wet yourself. But the idea of the Dom Studio was to show as much as possible what terrible monsters the toilets are, and it perfectly betrayed the atmosphere of a horror film. And finally, our women open the door, and we see two creepy monsters. And by the way, they look like my sister Databayo, but don't tell her, okay? And I can't even call them toilets anymore. And I'm surprised how the Dom Studio could come up with this, such battles like in Marvel movies, and just as many creepy things as in the coolest scary movies. And we see that they are playing with agent dolls, and also on the walls, we see creepy drawings of other people's heads and ghosts. And we can also notice a strange red liquid that moves. But these monsters suddenly noticed our girls, and were already ready to attack. But it's good that the TV woman closed the door, since it's better to avoid such mutants, because it's not clear what they are capable of. And the TV woman was shocked, but they continued on their way. But another monster appeared in another room, and we see how she eats her own ally, and it's disgusting. And we see this monster in close-up. I know what kind of character this is, but I don't want to talk about him in this video. I think you already know what kind of character this is. And this creature begins to climb the walls, and she attacks the camera woman. But the TV woman begins to set her on fire with her orange light, and the camera woman also fired at her. But she starts laughing, and it's incredibly creepy. But fortunately, she is killed by the Elite Clockman. And we also see that the whole team is assembled. ISO Toilet, Elite Clockman, and Moby, and Clockman shows that everything is okay. But suddenly we see that TV Woman is reading that very forbidden book, because of which 2 agents died in episode 13. And it seemed to me that ISO Toilet already wanted to kill TV Woman, but the Elite Clockman stopped him, and we see how TV Woman scanned this book and began to transfer the information somewhere, and she succeeded. And this is where the episode ends. But our video continues. Let's carefully analyze the last scene. I thought that there was only one such book, and it was destroyed in episode 13. But now it seems to me that there were actually 4 such books. Just like 4 laboratories, we saw the 4th laboratory, and it doesn't seem to mean anything. But for some reason, we saw exactly laboratory number 3 in this episode. And it seems to me that there are exactly 4 laboratories. Because if there were more of them, we would have seen laboratory number 5 or 6, for example. 1 book has already been destroyed. There are still 3 books left. One of them is now in the hands of TV Woman. But why didn't these guys kill TV Woman? I have 2 options. The first option is that the elite cameraman is in love with her, and we know that Clockman and cameraman are brothers, and that's why he didn't kill her. But as for me, this is an unlikely option, and I'm more confident in the second option. And the second option is that the TV woman did her job perfectly, and the Clockman decided not to kill her so that he could get them the rest of the books, since they don't want to fight with the toilets, since it is dangerous even for them. And perhaps they will use she to get the rest of the books. And it seems to me that these books are very connected, and information from one book will be useless. You need to collect all the books to understand the plan of the toilets. Perhaps it is true, but these are just theories. But think about it and write in the comments what you think. Perhaps it is true, but these are just theories. But think about it and write in the comments what you think. But what should we expect in the next episode? Now the plot is becoming more clear, and I really like it. Before, everything was chaotic, but now we have clues. We know that these guys are looking for books to destroy them, and in the future, they will show us 2 more laboratories and the war around them. I hope that we will see an improved cameraman and Titan TV men in the next episode. The chance is very small, but I would like to see them. If there are any leaks or some news, I will definitely make a video about them, so subscribe to the channel, and also press like button if you liked my analysis. Elite Clockwoman out.